Hi, this is Darren. Welcome to this Examiner's Head screencast, and this is on AQA GCSE English Language Paper 1, Question 1. Okay, some quick objectives. The first one, pretty obvious. We're going to understand which of the assessment objectives that you'll be assessed on. Remember, this approach that I'm taking really does look very closely at exactly what you're going to be assessed on, so that every single thing that you write in the exam gets you a mark. I think that's really, really critical, and I'll repeat that throughout this course. And the second objective here is to look at how to do this quickly, get this question over and done with quickly, so that you can get on to the higher value questions. Okay, so what is the one assessment objective? It's really hard to say. I think I'll just say AO. What's the one AO that you'll be assessed on? So it's to identify and interpret explicit and implicit information and ideas, and to select and synthesize evidence from different texts. Yes, I know, they use really complicated language, but these are examiners. It's not the real world, remember. So what do they mean? So the first bullet point here essentially just means to be able to identify the information that answers the question. Explicit on the surface, implicit, maybe a little bit more subtle, a little bit more under the surface. Maybe it's asking you to look a little bit more carefully at the text and not just pick out the literal meaning. And then the second bullet point here is to select and synthesize, really to choose the right quotes and either to just write them down as quotes or possibly to put them in to your own words, but really to keep those quotes really, really short. Okay, let's have a look at, this is the question from the 2018, May-June 2018 paper. I've just taken it from the AQA website. So nothing secret here, you can just download this one, no problem. So the question is, read again the first part of the source from lines 1 to 5. List 4 things about Rosabelle from this part of the source. Now, you may have noticed something here. I've gone straight to the question. I haven't gone to the excerpt. And this is a tip for you. You may disagree with me here, and that's absolutely fine. Your teachers may totally disagree, but I've always taught it this way, and I found it works quite well. What I don't get my kids to do is to look straight away at the excerpt or the source, the text that you have to read. And there's a reason for this. You're sitting in the exam and you're feeling quite stressed, and you have to read a passage from something that you've never read before. Could be quite boring as well, frankly. And you read it and it just doesn't go in. You read it because you've been told to, but frankly you've no idea why you're reading it. If you read the first question first and you do what it tells you to do, which is read lines 1 to 5 and pick out 4 things about Rosabelle, then you're an active reader because you're reading looking for something. If you read it through once, you've wasted a few minutes because you don't know what you're going to be looking for. So this is my top tip. Don't read the entire excerpt first, only read the lines they ask you to read. So let's do that. Let's just flick across here to this excerpt and let's see what we can do here. So we're going to look for 4 things that it tells us about Rosabelle. And it's really that simple. You should be doing this really, really quickly. I've just chosen a red pen here. Let's not go for a sparkly pen. Let's go for a red pen. Could be, doesn't matter, it could be black pen, it could be a highlighter, it doesn't really matter what you use. Okay, so we know that she bought a bunch of violets, she had a scone and a boiled egg and a cup of cocoa for her tea, she swung onto the steps of the bus, she grabbed her skirt with one hand, and she clung to the railing with the other. That'll do. There are more. So we know here, as we're reading it through, the corner of Oxford Circus, Rosabelle bought a bunch of violets. She had a scone and a boiled egg. She swung, she grabbed her skirt, she clung to the railing with the other. That's all you have to do. Just underline those key quotes, and then all you're going to do is you're going to write them up, either directly, as it says here, or just put them in your own words. My suggestion is, you can very easily just write these up as a summary in your own words, and that shows that you're taking the evidence from the text and you're understanding what that evidence is. I think that's quite a good idea. So let's look at the example here. Let's just go back onto this screen here. And okay, so possible answers: bought a bunch of violets, she had a scone, boiled egg, cup of cocoa for her tea, she'd been working hard in a hat shop, she swung onto the steps of the bus. There we are. It's roughly the same as what we saw in the passage, but I've just very, very slightly rephrased it just so to summarize. Okay, so just to remember then really quickly, only read what they tell you to. That's my advice. Just read those first few lines so you know what you're looking for. You can put the quotes in or you can rephrase in your own words, but do keep it short. And remember, this is a 4-mark question, so really only spend no more than 5 minutes. You could possibly do it even less than that, and then just move on. So just a reminder, this is from my AQA GCSE language book, which is available on amazon.co.uk. The next screencast, funnily enough, we will look at question 2.